Okay, so this was the first attack I made in this war. I decided I wanted to do a Govaho. This is a type of base that's like perfect for it. I started with a queen walk at the top, right up here, with a wizard on the left between the barracks and the gold mine, and then queen over on the right between the other gold mine and the other barracks. Goal was to make her walk right, just right along here, and take out the mortar there and the archer tower there. The goal being that there is a double bomb set between that archer tower and that air defense. So by doing the queen walk and taking out these two defenses, I have essentially made those double bombs there completely useless. So I was lucky enough to have a teammate hit this base earlier, and he exposed the other two double giant bombs, which are down here between this air defense and that expo. And then had a second teammate also make an attack, and he made it all the way over here between the king and the air defense, and showed that there was no giant bombs there. So just by process of elimination, I knew that they had to be up there, and the second attack also showed that there was in fact a giant bomb in between the archer tower and the air defense. So likely assumed and rightly assumed that there would be two giant bombs there. So after doing that, and seeing that, I decided I would bring my kill squad from the bottom here, and put a golem on that wizard tower and that wizard tower. And then I realized that that would be a big mistake, because I would want to punch a hole in right through here at that wall with wall breakers, and then a spell over this expo to the queen, triggering the giant bombs between the air defense and the expo. But I realized I couldn't do that because the expo would not lock on to either one of my golems and would kill my wall breakers as they moved through. So I decided to come over here to the right and put a golem on this cannon and that archer tower. I knew that my golem reaching the archer tower would not be targeted by the queen and would therefore last longer. And I also knew that once that archer tower is destroyed, that there's a Tesla in between the air defense here and that archer tower, and that if it reached the wall, the Tesla would target it. My bombs would be safe to punch a hole right through here, where then I could put a jump on this wall here, because I didn't want them going up here, because Valks love to go where there are two things side by side, and the middle here where the queen is a great target for that, and they would have gone right to that and would not have triggered the two giant bombs here. And I knew that the queen would hop the wall, so I'd have no problem killing her. And so I knew that I'd be safe coming this direction to kind of stay on the bottom half of the base and trigger those bombs. And then as it works out, it worked perfectly. The bombs were triggered before my hogs even got there. I deployed my hogs on these three defenses, and I only brought 14 hogs. I used one to lure, which if you look over here between the just to the side of the builder hut, you can lure on either one of these cannons just barely. So I saw one of my previous teammates, he tried a lure and it worked. So I knew already that it was going to work. So shout out to Unleashed. Thank you very much. So I deployed my hogs here and here. And because my kill squad was already at that air defense, my hogs continued around the side of the base, hitting those three defenses next, or actually those four. So I knew that if I dropped a heal while my hogs were over here by the king, that they'd be fine. So yeah, it comes down to the wire. Having a lower level queen does mean that things move slower, especially with a lure beforehand. Luckily, I moved things fast enough that it did not cost me, but I got it at the last second, as you'll see on replay. It took me all of the 3.5 minutes. So here we go. So like I said, I started with a lure, and you can see it just barely works. He had a dragon in there, so I knew I could kill him with poison. Unfortunately, my first teammate did miss the dragon on his poison drop, and that actually really hurt his raid. So you got to make sure that when you're using the poisons, look for the shadow of the dragon, and you want to put your poison right where the shadow is. So you can see I waited a little long here before deploying. I wanted to make sure that that dragon was dead, and I could have started a lot sooner. So one of the things was I knew that wizard would be safe, so I put that wizard to create my funnel. I only had 4 wizards, so I knew I needed to use them wisely. So right there, I did not drop my healers until my queen was targeted, because sometimes if you make the mistake of dropping your healers and she's not taking damage, they will aggro to the person who is. So that means they could have aggroed over to the wizard. So that's why you see that I did not drop them right away. So the wizard did his job. He even helped out take out that gold storage, which was actually, considering it came down to the last second, was probably very key. Now right here, I probably waited a little too long with dropping my rage. As you can see, my queen is on the verge of dying there. I think had she taken one more shot before me dropping that rage, she would have been dead. But it works out perfectly. Takes out all of those defenses, negating the double giant bomb set. Even gets the added bonus of taking out the queen. And the cannon there, which there's a spring trap in between the cannon and the archer tower there. So you can already see that I've already created my funnel. I've already dropped the bombs. I've already dropped my Valks. So Valks are awesome. I love them. I still need to finish upgrading mine. You can see my spell placement was awesome there because the Valks actually came back into the wall instead of going outside there or beating on the wall, which was awesome. You can see my healers finally died. They were no longer aggroing on my queen there. I've already deployed my hogs. You can see my first heal was right there. Probably could have waited a little bit longer on that first heal, but it works out perfectly. Anyways, so as you can see there, again, nice split. Even the hogs that are outside the heal there eventually kill it fast enough that they aggro through the heal again. And at this point in time, I know that I'm going to kill all the defenses, but as you can see, there's only 35 seconds left, and there's still a lot of buildings out there. I already dropped the wizard over on the left to kill that builder hut. He's already starting to clean up some of the trash on the outside. So getting your wizards down early is key. We had a teammate earlier in the war get a 99% because he waited just a hair. He waited too long before deploying his wizards, and that's really what cost him. So I got mine out just in time, as you can see, got the 100%, and I actually finished this raid with 4 Valks left, 4 of my 7 Valks. So it just shows you just how powerful they are. One of my golems was still not broken. So it just lets you know how powerful an attack like this can be. And you look at it, only 14 hogs. That's not a lot of hogs, but I absolutely destroyed this base with plenty of troops left over. The only thing that cost me was that the lure takes a while to kill the CC. And my queen being not very high on the queen walk means that things move slowly. But as you can see, I timed it pretty well. I started my kill squad pretty early. And I'm actually going to go ahead and look at this again. So you can see, I'm going to fast forward through this. Getting a lure, especially when there's dragons in there, is absolutely key. So when building a base, make sure that your CC is not easily lured. So once again, making sure that your queen is taking damage before you put healers down is important. So one of the things I wanted to say was right about here, as I said before, my queen was almost dead. So right here, I should have dropped the rage right there, but I waited too long. I should have dropped the rage and moved on to my kill squad. Just that little bit sooner would have made a big difference. I can already know that she's going to step into range of that cannon. So knowing that, should drop the rage a little bit sooner. As it is, it works out, and yeah, got really close though. So right here, I'm already starting my kill squad. Starting a little bit sooner would have probably helped, but actually, as you can see, that archer tower is actually targeting my queen and never even once shoots that golem. So that level 5 golem is up the whole time. So as you can see, I get my Valks down, I get a lot of my troops down before I even drop my wall breakers. That is also key. So once again, the thing with Valks is they love to go where there are two things side by side. So knowing that, you have to be very careful on where you jump, put your jump spells. And as you can see right here, I already know they haven't triggered that giant bomb set there, but I already know that they're going to. I can already see that they have nowhere else to go but continue on. And I know I have golems in there and that they're going to be, the next target is that air defense. So I already know that they're going to trigger it. So I've already dropped my hogs down. And as you can see, I kind of spread them out a little bit. The reason for that is that the defenses are kind of distracted, but I want my hogs to move as quickly as possible through those defenses. And I know that there's spring traps between them, because anytime you see where there's only one space between defenses, that is an ideal spot for spring traps. So in order to avoid getting 3 hogs sprung, spreading your hogs out a little bit in a kind of more surgical fashion is definitely the way to go. So as you can see, my hogs come in. The bombs are triggered. I don't lose any hogs to spring. Well, I lose 1 there and then 2 there. But because I spread them out, I didn't lose 6. So my heal could have been dropped a little further, but it works out really well. But as you can see, my queen actually jumps back over, and that actually is really helpful. So she's already hitting that high hit point storage there. That's fantastic, and everything is being tanked over here for my hogs. That golem is tanking, taking shots from the Expo. That Tesla and the Archer Tower, unfortunately, was not targeting them, is targeting my hogs. But Teslas are killer on hogs. Teslas are amazing. It should be probably one of the first things you upgrade at Town Hall 9, in my opinion. But as you can see, because it was distracted, my hogs just come right in and wipe this stuff out without even taking a shot. So I ended up finishing the raid with like 6 hogs. You can see I used my abilities on my heroes pretty early because I knew I had to get through the walls as quickly as possible. So also having those extra troops means that I destroy and get through things faster. So using your abilities early on like that is probably a good idea, because that's just more DPS coming out with the extra archers and the extra barbs. So there you have it.